Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you want to find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world we're in. This is another scene for Unmask Orlando, the Changeling venue. This evening we find ourselves back at the Night Horse Surf Shack. Or Surf Shop. Brain, please work. Where Alexa is actually just kind of sitting outside and looking out at the water with her son on her lap. It's been a stressful couple of days between, a good friend's first change and her chrysalis and, all sorts of fun things are happening in her life right now that she just really didn't need.
Well, she sees a car pull up. Uh, it is a fairly nice car. Trying to remember what kind of car he drives. I think he drives a Prius. But it's
Environmentally
2000, so
friendly.
it's the year 2000, so they like literally just came out like I think 2 years prior. So um so yeah, he's driving one of those. And out and it parks, and out steps this man who at first glance you might not be able to tell exactly if he's a man or a woman. um, he has bright blue, unnaturally blue eyes, white hair, almost snow stark white hair, very pale skin, but not pale like a vampire, just porcelain. And he is wearing a black leather jacket and jeans and whatever the most popular sneaker is at the time. And she can see his faming is that of a blonde golden retriever. He is a dog. And he begins to approach her.
She will get up and kind of brush herself off. She is probably wearing some kind of swimsuit, probably not the one, not her sealskin,
Mm-hmm.
as she's got the baby today, so she doesn't want to, you know, change with him around. She'd rather keep him inside if she's going to do that. She'll stand up, brush herself off, and move over to him.
He gives her a very warm smile.
She will extend a hand. Alexa Nighthorse.
He smiles again, and um, Baron Isaac Llewellyn of House Gwydion. She would recognize the last name because his brother was there not too long ago.
I believe your brother mentioned you.
He smiles. Did he?
He did not mention, though, well, how handsome you are.
He blushes And with as pale as his skin is, it is very apparent. Oh, come on now. I am not that handsome.
Whoever told you that clearly lied to you.
No, no, no. I'm pretty sure that they were telling the truth.
Mm, no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm assuming you're here for some reason. You didn't just randomly pop in to see a squire. What can I do for you, Baron?
Maybe I did. Maybe I did just randomly pop in to see the squire,
Her cheeks go a
though they
little
didn't
red
tell
at that.
me. Though they didn't tell me that she would be. He smiles. He's trying not to, like, he wants to say it, but he has to, like, downplay it. Beautiful.
Her face is just bright red now.
What he wants to say is quite possibly the most gorgeous woman he's ever seen in the universe, but he can't say that. So, because he doesn't want her to think he's exaggerating. Um,
Her cheeks turn red. Not nearly as obvious on her because of how darkly tanned her skin is, but in the other arm that is not, shaking his hand, there is a baby.
mm-hmm. He notices the baby, and he gets very excited, and he reaches out and tickles him.
The baby would giggle and kind of reaches his hands out for him.
Oh, he'll scoop him up, nuzzle his face.
He doesn't usually take to people that quickly.
Isaac will shrug. Man's best friend.
I suppose you're right. Did you want to come in?
Please.
She will lead him inside. They go through the surf shop. And the shop looks absolutely just stocked with anything you could possibly need for surfing.
He takes a look around, and he's still holding the baby, not planning on letting him go anytime soon.
There are also one or two like the old style hand carved wooden surfboards hanging up on the wall.
Well, that'll catch his attention.
These are absolutely just crafted to perfection.
Where did these come from?
My husband carved them
So you're
before he
married?
was.
He
He was
frowns.
He was killed in defending our home. She's not sure he knows about. Actually, he probably would know, given that his brother's a kinfolk. He.
Oh, I forgot to put it on his overlay. He's a kinfolk as well.
Oh,
Um,
okay. He
he's
died
Get of
in
Fenrir's kinfolk.
defense of the Sept.
I'm really sorry to hear that. He gives her a very empathetic look. Like, genuinely, um, like he's genuinely sorry about that. And that maybe he might understand. Um, he just nods.
Though it is of note that she
I
does not wear a ring. There is a tan line where one was.
mm-hmm. He'll notice that, but he doesn't say anything. He'll just say, "It's definitely not a pain that I wish on anybody."
Indeed.
He bites his lip and looks away from the surfboards.
At
He'll
that point,
smile back to her.
she'll take him back into the apartment area.
Well, at least with Karen in the background, it's absolutely appropriate.
Right? For once he's actually, being appropriate for the scene.
He is. Um. So, yeah, I knew I forgot something on his overlay.
But yeah, it's a, kind of modest little 2-bedroom apartment, but it's very homey.
Um, he'll find a spot to sit down.
There are a couple
Um,
of, couches and whatnot in the living room, kind of centered around a small TV.
he'll sit down. Um, and there we go. I updated it.
Wow, that quick.
He'll sit down
Nice.
and he'll look to the baby and then look back to Alexa. What's his name?
That moment when you realize you didn't actually think of a name for the baby.
Did you not name him? I could have swore.
If I did, I don't remember what I chose. I am so much fail.
Uh,
As I scroll back through there.
that's what I'm looking at too. Did we actually? Well, was there not actually a nope? There
Ezekiel.
was not. Okay.
Ezekiel.
Alright.
He's named after my grandfather.
He smiles.
Though my brother tends to call him Zeke.
Zeke.
I keep trying to tell him that it's Ezekiel, but, you know, as if my brother listens to a word I say. Mr. Alpha.
Your brother is Noah Nighthorse, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he can exactly hear what you're saying anyway.
That. I think you know I mean signing.
He says that very good naturedly. Like, he's not trying to cause any
she
problems.
sticks her tongue out at him.
Ezekiel. I will refer to him as Ezekiel.
The baby kind of looks up at the mention of his name.
He smiles to him, boops his nose.
That gets a giggle out of him.
Hmm.
And apparently other baby noises.
I remember when my son was his age.
You have a son as well.
Remy.
How old is he?
Direct question.
Oh god! Oh, it was a direct question. Shit! That means he has to go around it.
Well, he's older than Ezekiel.
Oh, you're a. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he like looks. He gives her like this pained expression. Like, man.
Oh. That is the downfall of.
Yep, that
Hmm.
sucks. I know. That's what sucks about playing a puka and dealing with puka is the direct question thing.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. No direct questions. Because goodness gracious, you're
He
Puka,
just
so.
he gives her an apologetic look.
No, it's quite alright. I simply forgot that I can't ask you direct questions and you answer them honestly.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you know,
Not my first time dealing with Puka. Actually, one of my friends just had her chrysalis last week.
yes, hummingbird puka, right?
Yes, indeed.
Um, her mentor told me about it.
Mm.
He likes to keep me in the loop when new puka come into being or come into the city.
Well, yeah, she's a sweetheart. I think she'll do well. Once she gets past the initial what the heck is going on. Guess it's a little bit easier for Selkies like
He,
me.
he smiles, remembering his chrysalis, and then shakes his head. Oh, my dad about had a heart attack. I think maybe he did have a heart attack. The jury's still out on that. But once he figured out what was going on, he sent me to live with Johann and his dad, since they're a fae.
Well, your brother talks very fondly of you, so it seems you made a good impression.
Well, I'm not that great. He smiles and
Let me guess. Noah said something to your brother, which is why you're here.
something like that. He blushes. I, I wanted to make sure that you're okay.
I'm fine. And I'm gonna have to go roll her manipulation subterfuge, which is not great.
Against his P&E with his acute senses? Like, oh boy.
Her whole 2 dice.
I mean, I'm still going to roll his because there is a chance he could fail, but it's kind of unlikely he's going to fail.
Lord.
Changeling dice roller. She
She
bought.
botched.
I'm still going to roll his just to see. Because, yeah.
I mean, she has 2 dice.
Yeah,
Oh,
again.
God, he sees through that like it's
Uh-huh.
fucking
He raises an
cellophane.
eyebrow. On a botch, it's going to become extremely apparent that she is not telling the truth.
Yeah, fucking cellophane. See right through it.
He raises an eyebrow. I don't. You're not. I can see it.
She kind of takes a deep breath. She's not really sure why, but she feels safe with him.
Because he is the best boy.
Yes.
I mean, and I can make a charisma roll
Oh no.
just to drive the point home that he is trustworthy.
Yeah, she can't explain it. She just feels safe with him. So as he says that, tears kind of start falling down her cheeks.
Oh no. He he moves closer and puts an arm around her. The arm that's not holding the baby.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
Things haven't been okay very long time.
He listens to her and just rubs her back.
I'm guessing that They told you at least a little.
He nods. Yeah, that you've been hurt a lot.
I think if Noah ever knew the extent of the things that our father did, he'd get himself killed.
He furrows his brow. Can you tell me?
Never told anyone before.
He looks to her. His eyes are soft and his expression is warm and comforting. His energy. She gets the feeling that he wouldn't repeat anything without her consent.
God, I don't even know where to start.
Sometimes the beginning can be best.
Mom hid a lot of things very well. The one thing she didn't really hide well was the bruises. And I don't know for sure, but I have my suspicions that he's the reason that my mother is dead.
He takes in a sharp breath, but just simply nods and lets her continue, making mental notes of everything.
And then for a while, his attention turned to my brother. And for a while, his attention turned to my brother. He prepared him to eventually take his spot on the Elder Council, I guess. And then Noah was deafened. And that frustrated Dad. And he took those frustrations out on me. So I got good at hiding things too.
He nods. I'm so sorry.
And then
Isaac swallows. He can probably guess what's coming next.
she's having a really hard time getting it out.
He keeps rubbing her back, gives her shoulder a reassuring squeeze.
He can't even say it.
Isaac just nods. I know what you mean. He shakes his head and pulls her into a one-armed hug. You don't have to say it.
What's worse is it didn't stop when I got married.
She just kept doing it.
About 3 months ago, I took Ezekiel to our rights master. Because I had my suspicions, I guess.
He's not your late husband, is he?
No,
That causes Isaac to tear up.
the one piece of him I thought I had.
Your father took that from you.
She just nods.
I'm so sorry.
That's why I said if Noah ever knew, he'd get himself killed, because I know he'd try to go after our father and he wouldn't stand a chance.
If you told him, I think if Johan and I sat down with him, we could come up with a plan rather than him just going off half-cocked.
You seem to underestimate the Garu rage.
No. He shakes his head. I grew up with it. I know what it is. I know how it operates. But you might underestimate our power. What we're able to do. We can keep him from going after him and getting himself killed. But this can't continue. And she'll notice that Isaac is shaking.
She's just gonna kind of lean into him.
And the more she would also notice that the more he listened, the quieter he got. He is supposed to protect you, love you, and keep you safe from harm, but he's the one harming you. I mean, that's not okay, especially since you are no longer in their purview as you are a changeling. We protect our own. You are a noble in this land. You are in no way deserving of anything that ever happened to you by his hand. And though it took him a lot to say that, she could tell that he meant every word.
She is doing all that she can not to just break down sobbing.
But we do need to inform the Alpha of the Sept, even though that is your brother. Because he's violating your laws.
At least let me tell him.
He nods, of course.
This isn't something he should hear from someone else.
Can I be there?
I'd be glad to have you and Johan there.
We'll be there. I'm so sorry.
There's also some pretty intense makeup under one of her eyes at the moment, which, as she cries, is slowly just, wiping itself away. It becomes clear she has a black eye.
Isaac notices that, takes in a breath. When did that happen?
Last time I went to the Sept. That's why I try not to go very often.
Can you do me a favor?
She looks up at him.
Don't go back. Not for anything. You need something from there, somebody can get it for you.
I've been going as little as possible. Just
Please don't go back at all. Please.
she nods. He refuses to come out here, so
Good. At least we know you're safe here. Which there would be many, many, many more problems if he did come here and do anything like that. Because this is our territory, not his.
it's too far out of his way. That would require him actually giving a shit.
He looks to Ezekiel. He doesn't need to grope around that.
Oh no, I agree. Neither does my little brother, but there's not much I can do about that.
How old's your little brother?
3. By
New
his
maid,
new
I'm assuming.
plaything,
He nods.
who's Noah's age.
He makes a face. And he's how old?
I believe I know he's in his 50s. Honestly, I stopped keeping track and caring.
Yeah. Um, he's 9, by the way.
She'll smile a bit.
I know I probably don't look old enough to have a 9-year-old, but
You certainly don't.
I had him when I was 18.
It happens.
Um,
I'm not going to judge.
I have him because his mother's not alive.
And now it's his turn to get a hug.
He hugs her.
Glad they sent you.
You are?
Been holding all of this in for so long.
I can tell. I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough to open up to me.
I can't explain it, but I feel safe with you.
He smiles and blushes a bit lightly. Well, I want to protect you, so. He looks down at Ezekiel. Him too.
She kind of looks up at the clock. Oh, I need to get him a bottle.
He'll stand up. Where do you keep the stuff?
No, I'll get it. I still do partial breastfeeding.
He'll nod and hand him over to her.
Generally, if someone's here, I grab one of the bottles that have already been pumped out of the fridge, so.
He shrugs like it doesn't bother him either way.
She blushes a little bit.
Whatever you feel comfortable doing. It's not going to bother me either way.
She will undo the top at that point. But she does, at least cover up a little bit. Because she does she is still fairly modest.
He actually turns his head until he knows that the baby is in place, and then he'll look back over.
Yep, baby is comfortably in place. With a hand reaching up out of the blanket and, playing with mom's face.
He chuckles at that.
It's his favorite thing to do. Play with my face while he's eating.
Always restless.
Oh, I give it 5 minutes and he'll be out.
He smiles.
And just as she predicted, within 5 minutes of starting to eat, he is just passed out. Inappropriate Kieran noises. I think he got offended that I called him inappropriate.
I think you did too.
She'll actually take him into the bedroom and lay him down in the crib.
He nods.
At that point, she kind of adjusts herself back to normal. There we go. She's kind of looking down at the floor.
Yeah, his assertion is about run out. And now he's just kind of like glancing around awkwardly. um,
Can I get you something to drink?
he'll shrug.
I'll take that as a yes.
He gives a grateful look to her. It's like, direct question.
She will avoid asking him what he wants. She just kind of sets things out on the counter. As a way to avoid asking a question. Yeah, she sets out a container of tea, a bottle of wine, and then a little decanter of ice water.
The water is what he will take.
She will pour them both a glass of water and put the other things away and go back and sit down with him again. We'll eventually remember to stop asking Puka direct questions.
He shakes his head. It's part of normal, everyday speech. It just so happens that I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is turning red with embarrassment.
Yet she's also just kind of, looking away, red faced. Way to break the tension, Kieran.
So how are things around here at the shop?
Pretty good. I do pretty good business. A lot of surfers on this coast, so
He nods. Would you like to know what I do for a living?
actually, yes, that would be nice.
I'm a nurse. I provide end of life care.
That has to be really tough.
It can be.
Though you seem to have the empathy to make people feel better, that's for sure.
He blushes again. I am but a humble service dog. He chuckles at his own joke.
That was a bad joke.
I thought it was fantastic. Gives her a faint, shocked look. How dare? Yeah, especially when um, I tend to get attached sometimes, and even though I know that it's coming, it's still a little rough when it happens.
Couldn't even imagine.
Um, and I go to their home.
Mm.
I sometimes take shifts at the hospital if they're short staffed, but uh, most of my clients are at home patients.
One of the other kinfolk on our sept is studying to be a doctor, so
No,
yeah, recent transplant from Ireland, of all places.
the hell is she doing in Florida? Why? Why is she
Um,
here?
I guess from what she was saying, she wanted to get away from her family,
Hmm.
which I can definitely understand the sentiment.
Well, I would say that I could visit her, but I don't think that they would take too kindly to get a Fenris kinfolk showing up. So,
Oh, no, probably not.
but
It's a primarily Wendigo and Uktena sept, so
he nods.
they
Yeah.
just started allowing Fianna and Shadow Lords.
Yes. One of our counts, her twin brother is over there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not a lot do.
If
She
he's one of
doesn't.
the Shadow Lords, there's only a few of them on Sept.
Are they all mostly one family?
Yeah, it's the Gonzalez family.
Yeah. Uh, Rose, she's Sebastian's twin sister.
Oh,
But she
so
doesn't
that's
talk
nice.
about it too much, except to me, because everybody talks to me,
You have one of those faces.
I guess. But apparently they don't speak really since she chrysalis. So he shrugs.
She's Arcadian, isn't she?
She is,
There's probably not much of his sister left.
as she was.
Yeah, as she was.
If it, I know that if Johann had ended up Arcadian she instead of Autumn she, I would have taken the time to get to know who he became rather than being upset over who he wasn't anymore.
I I don't
But
want to speak ill, but Sebastian didn't just lose Rose. His wife has been missing for over 2 years.
he furrows his brow. That's about, I think she said that it was about 2 years ago or so when he stopped speaking to her altogether.
He, we assume that she's gone.
He nods. Shit.
He was our den parent, but you grew up with this. I assume you know.
He nods. I do. I know most of it, all of it. Yeah, I ran around on Sept. I came from the south.
I heard there was a get a fender sept down south. I tried to do
They
at least a
are
little research.
they are a rare sept that are peacefully run by both the Gadafenris and the Uktena.
Her eyes widen a little bit at that, which her eyes are already kind of on the big side because of
Right? The seal eyes, but
the
yeah.
seal eyes, but they look they go even wider.
Yeah, the Sept Alpha is Uktena and the Beta is Gadafenris. And then
Wow,
pretty evenly dispersed throughout the rest of the positions.
that's impressive isn't even really the right word. I didn't think that would be possible.
They've been running like that for, well, since before I was born. And how old am I? I was 18 when Remy was born, and that was 9, almost 10 years ago. So I'm like 27 or so, 28. I lose track.
That's bad. Not even keeping track of your own age.
He shrugs. It's not that important. Johan and I are the same age. Um,
Noah and I are almost the same age. Irish twins.
he smiles.
That's why we've always been so close.
That's, but yeah, that's where I was until I did not have a first change. Which
Instead, you ended up one of us.
I did. My father, he loves me, but I know he was disappointed.
Trust me, I get that. Both of my older brothers had their first change, and then I didn't, so.
I do have a brother who's a Garu. He joined the Fianna though, which I'm sure my father is very, very happy about that. So happy. Um, his name's Dominic. He's quite a bit older than me, but
Yeah, our eldest brother is about 5 years older than Noah.
he nods.
And then, of course, our youngest brother is, well,
Not much older than your son.
yeah.
Um,
She is kind of awkwardly looking at the floor.
yeah, he's like kind of run out of things to talk about now. So, um,
And this is where that whole you have to, show your emotions thing is gonna kick her in the teeth.
yep.
Because there's something she really wants to do. And she's, just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh god, this I really don't want to I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. But, must follow my emotions. So
He looks over to her.
she's kind of chewing on her lower lip a little bit.
What is it?
She takes a deep breath and kind of leans up and kisses him.
He goes a little bit wide-eyed, but he's not put off by it. He kisses her back. And then he'll say, I was hoping one of us would have the courage to do that.
House Fiona?
He nods.
I don't have much choice in the matter.
He kind of like raises his hand a little bit. Now, Gwydion, we are live and die by our honor. And he's gonna lean in and kiss her again.
It's our turn for her eyes to go wide a little bit. She actually wasn't expecting him to kiss her again, but
now that he knows it's okay, he's gonna do it.
yeah, she absolutely just melts into his kiss.
And he wraps his arms around her, kisses her for a minute. And then he'll break it and pant. Okay.
Wow.
He reaches up and touches her cheek. I'll protect you.
That causes a little smile. Oh, buddy.
And I think that it might really. He chuckles a little bit, really upset your father if you brought home a get offenders.
That it would.
But I dare him to do something about it. He gets a little sparkle in his bright blue eyes.
He's already been talking about arranging a marriage.
His jaw drops slightly and he emphatically shakes his head. That's not happening.
Says there's still plenty of time to have kids, that I need to get back to it.
That's not his decision to make. You decide when and if you want to have more children. And with who. Not some fucking sleazebag he picks out for you. Who, just because they have high pure breed makes them worthy? No, fuck that.
That was precisely why he set me up with my husband.
He nods.
He had high pure breed.
Well, I have high pure breed. Grins.
Yeah, I think my dad would have a heart attack if I brought you home.
Oh, good. Then maybe he'll die. And then he covers his mouth. And it goes bright red.
She has a very hard time just suppressing a laugh.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Um, we're not Puka aren't usually very forthcoming with their feelings, but I just can't help it right now. Dreaming be damned. I don't care. Actually, he's not saying everything he feels.
Oh, no, I'm sure he's not.
um, so, would you like to go out to dinner?
I would love to.
Good. Let's start there.
Get Noah and Johan to babysit Ezekiel.
Well, that just so happens I'll have to ask him to babysit Remy, so
Exactly, they can do it together.
they can. Oh, and Remy will help with Ezekiel, and he's my son. He loves other babies.
I was
He
gonna
loves
say, if he's
babies.
anything like you.
He blushes. You'll love him.
Thank you for coming.
He nods. I'm glad I did. Not that I wouldn't have. As soon as Johann even gave me an inkling of what was possibly going on, I came over here right away.
Guess I have to thank Noah for being a blabbermouth for once. If you want a secret
Yes.
kept, don't tell my brother.
I think he was just trying to protect you the only way he knew how.
Doesn't make him any less of a shithead.
Well, no. And doesn't make my brother any less of a shithead for telling as well. So, he's not a very good secret keeper either.
Those two will have no secrets.
I'm just saying that those two are probably made for each other.
Yeah. I I kind of always knew Noah was going to be gay. It became blatantly clear.
Well, Johann is Mr. Fabulous, if you ask him. So,
I mean, he is impossibly pretty.
oh, I know. It's sickening. He looks just like, well, so this is a funny thing. You will probably meet both of our fathers one of these days, and I have to tell you that it's weird. He looks pretty much just like his, and I look pretty much just like mine. Like it's not just a resemblance; it's weird. Like you would think that we were twins instead of father son.
Oh boy, that's gonna be
Hmm.
fun.
I know. There are some subtle differences, but it's, yeah, it's weird. I don't even know where my father is these days. He said he had to go travel. I'm like, you're old, stay home. Whatever. He shrugs. I know Devin Johan's dad. He's the Duke of another duchy.
Ah.
He didn't want to leave his to take over this one, which was fine, honestly. I was fine to come over here and help Duke Felix. So
I've yet to meet the man, but I've heard nothing but good things.
he smiles. He's pretty great for a Scatha. His daughter is a cub of
It
the.
could always be worse. He could be House Farage.
Okay, that's true. Those poor things. I don't know why anyone would ever want to join that house.
I couldn't imagine what it would be like not being able to.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm, nope. I don't. I've never in my life been so jaded that I would consider giving up my ability to love anyone ever again. No,
Me either.
I feel really sorry for those people. He gets a bit of a sad look on his face. Like he genuinely does feel sorry for them. Just to be so over the possibility of I would never want to be there in that mentality. He looks to her.
I think if I ever got to that point, I would. Honestly, I don't know what I would do if I ever got to that point.
Well, if I have anything to do with it, you won't get to that point ever.
This causes the blush to spread across her cheeks.
He blushes a little bit as he says it too. He pulls her into a hug.
This also just she's not as bad about blushing as her brother is.
Right?
Like you said, let's try dinner first and see where it goes.
When
Um, I can text Noah and see when he's available.
okay, because I just have to give Johan enough notice. He can pretty much do it whenever. Not that I have to twist his arm. He adores his nephew.
So does Noah. If I could just break him of, calling my son Zeke, we'd be great.
I'll put a bug in Johann's ear. I just thought of something that they're going to be watching the kids together while we're out on a date. It's almost like they're going to have an in date and we're going to have an out date. You could say it's outdated. Oh, my girlfriend in the background, everybody. This is great. Oh my god. Oh god.
Well, considering we are the actual parents, I guess us getting the time out is necessary every now and then.
Of course it is. We would not, we probably wouldn't be any sort of sane, not that we are, but it would be even less of a thing if we didn't get out once in a while. I'm really grateful for Johan.
And I am so grateful for Noah.
Because, as you well know, being a single parent is not easy.
No, it is not. I've been on my own since before he was even born. So,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was 6 months pregnant when the sept was attacked. Pack of vampires.
Ugh.
They were the ones that can turn into that disgusting form that I've seen werewolves go Krynos, and that doesn't compare to what these things looked like.
He shudders. Um, we weren't married, but Renee's mom was taken by Dante.
She just kind of leans against his shoulder.
We found her, but she was not herself, not even remotely. Um, so we did what we had to do.
I'm so sorry.
He tears up. He was only a few months old. He has no memory of her. But I keep a picture of her in his room. And I tell him the stories as best as I can. The good ones. I'm not ready to tell him what happened to her. I'm not sure. He might be alright to hear it now, but I'm still not. I don't want to tell him.
And that's something that can wait until you're both ready.
I don't, I don't want to tell him that I failed.
She just wraps her arms around him.
And he just starts crying, shaking. I haven't been with anybody since.
He died protecting me.
He nods. So
She stands up and turns around and kind of lifts up her shirt.
he looks.
There's a rather nasty looking scar on the lower half of her back. Kind of off to the left side a little bit.
What happened?
One of those things got a hold of me. It found where a bunch of the kinfolk were hiding, and I happened to be the first one it saw.
How long ago was this?
I was 6 months pregnant at the time.
And how old is Ezekiel?
Almost a year.
So about a year and a half ago, maybe.
About a year. We had to. I was rushed into emergency surgery because
Right.
we almost lost him.
You know, it's um I heard rumors that there are kinfolk going missing. Do you think that's connected?
I don't know. I I hope not.
He nods, and he reaches out and touches her scar.
We didn't think that Ezekiel was gonna make it.
I'm glad he did. I'm glad you both did.
Luckily, we had our rights master there. He couldn't save Nathaniel, but he saved both myself and Ezekiel. If it weren't for him, we'd both be dead.
He pulls his hand back and he looks to her. Oh.
He was 3 months early. He was so small. why, despite being almost a year old, he looks more like he's 6 months old.
So that's where he would be if he was on time.
Yeah.
Um, I know that had to be scary. I'm sorry.
I don't
Scary.
remember a whole lot of it, though. I think I blacked out from the pain.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Honestly, all I remember is waking up and the first thing I asked, where is Nathaniel? Where is he? And that was when they told me he had sacrificed himself to protect me.
He swallows. He hugs her again. Olivia. What was her name?
She smiles and just hugs him back.
Sometimes it feels like it just happened yesterday.
She nods.
We can we can help each other.
I think having someone here that understands would be helpful, to say the least.
Yeah,
I love my brother,
it's
but he has no idea what I'm going through.
same.
Nathaniel and I were an arranged marriage, but I did eventually fall in love with him, and the last thing we did was argue.
I'm sorry.
And it was over something so stupid.
What was it about?
What color to paint the nursery?
I remember having that argument. I'm sorry.
She just kind of leans into him.
He holds her. It's clear, even though he said, we'll go out to dinner and see what happens, he doesn't want to leave her.
Sure, this is what either of our brothers were expecting.
No, probably not. Or, well, actually, knowing my brother, probably at least hoped.
Mine was probably oblivious to the fact that it was even a possibility.
Probably, unless my brother happened to slap him upside the face with it. Which he's good at doing.
I love Noah, I really do. But the boy can't see,
Is he a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic basket?
Yes. He can't see what's right in front of him. I wouldn't trade him for the world, though.
No, I bet not. Just like Johann can be annoying, annoyingly flamboyant. God. And
That's.
arrogant, and he can be just a dickhead sometimes.
Well, the second one's definitely not Noah. I think if he tried to be flamboyant, our father would.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, we can't keep Noah from going back.
No, he's the Sept Alpha.
Yeah,
He
he
has
kind
to
of
be
has to be
there.
there. Yeah. Oh, wait. He's the alpha. So if he says that I can be there, then I can go. He gets a very mischievous look on his face.
You are terrible.
You get the feeling that if he had been a Garu, he likely would have been a Ragabash. I'm just saying. My brother calls me his attack dog.
Let me guess. You were born under a new moon.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what moon phases are.
Uh-huh.
He grins,
She leans up and kisses him.
kisses her back, smiling.
Anyway, you are welcome to stay if you want, but I need to get myself some dinner. Probably going to order pizza.
He grins. As much as I don't want to, I should get home to my son.
She smiles. That's actually the answer she was hoping for.
um, we'll be in touch about dinner.
Definitely.
He wraps his arms around her and kisses him again. Her again. Ugh.
Thinking of Noah and Johan
Ugh.
there?
I don't even know. Just whatever. Just get my pronouns mixed up. It's fine.
Right.
And then he reluctantly leaves.
And I suppose with him leaving, we can end our scene.
Yep.
Thank you, ST, for STing. Thank you, watchers,
Thank
for
you.
watching.
And thank you, player, for playing.
See you next time.